am here. Thanks for the follow. Oh, we got a few people here. Actually, some of these might be from before and I missed. Might have forgot to thank these people last week. Princess PJs, Romedy Cobb, Trial by Stone, Teru 219, and Olexy. Hey everybody. One sec, the music did a weird thing. There we go. Hey Mark, hey Billy, hey Chantel, hey Nadia. Ah, there we go. How are we doing? So we're doing Hollow Knight tonight. This was one of Billy's suggestions. And I know nothing about Hollow Knight. But the artwork looks pretty cool. I watched the trailer right before we went live here. I'm not too bad. I woke up frustratingly early. I woke up, was tossing and turning, had no idea what time it was, and then looked at the clock and it was like 7:15, and I figured I was tossing and turning for probably at least 45 minutes, maybe more. So I've been up for a while. 2D Metroidvania Souls-like game. I actually ordered a ring light. I have one. I just haven't set it up yet. It arrived right before my stream on Thursday, so I didn't have time to set it up. And then, if I'm being honest, I've been kind of distracted and I forgot about it. I meant to get it set up for the stream, so hopefully by Thursdays I'll have that set up. But yes, I still don't know why the lighting is so, like, I have all the same lights every time, but sometimes this is really dark and sometimes it's really bright. I don't understand why it does that on the screen. I'm thinking it's some like I adjust my settings every time, but maybe depending on what, I don't know. It's weird, but whatever. But I do have a ring light. I just haven't set it up yet. It is a good show. I agree, Nadia. Silco? I don't know. What is? I'm not sure if I know what you're referring to, Nadia. All right. So I'm gonna do the main guy, and I wondered about throwing in. I figured I'd throw in two characters. This will probably be a quick one, honestly, but I kind of want to lean into that a little bit today. Trying to get caught up on some other things at the same time. Which character? Is it from Arcane and I'm forgetting the name? Uh, but why would the auto exposure be different though, Mark, when all the lighting in the room is the same? Shouldn't it auto expose the same way every time if the conditions are the same? Or is Silico from Hollow Knight? Billy, if I were to do another character with, first of all, does the main character have a name? The one with the horns? And if I was to do another one, who would you suggest? I was thinking, here's my reference. I can grab other stuff on the web if you name one that's on here. I was thinking about doing her. I think it's a her. But if there's another one that makes more sense. But like you said, it's auto exposure though. I usually turn the auto exposure off on the webcam, I think. Or is it? Or do I? I think I do. But you know what it might be is it resets, I turn it off, but it's when I turn it off, it's left at whatever it auto exposed to. So maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Okay. Well, good to know, Mark. The ring light will probably help regardless, but I'll. I think actually now that we're saying it, I think I actually solved this problem once before, and then it was a while before it came up again, and I forgot about it. But okay. Hornet. Which one is Hornet? describe Hornet. If it's one of the ones I have here, cool. If not, I'll bring it up on my phone. I have like a deadline on something I'm trying to hit this week, and it hasn't been going well. That's the main reason I didn't set up the light today. I occurred to me about an hour ago, and I could have set it up in that time, but I was just like, oh, I want to work on this thing, and it just didn't happen. Red cloak, long weapon, 2 long horns. Okay. Are they here? Is that Hornet? Because my print is black and white. My printer was running out of ink when I printed my reference. Yeah, I noticed that. You know what? Okay, hang on. I'm waiting for Billy's answer there. I'm gonna do something with that. I bet I can. Oh, this one? Actually, why the face cam is darker is even weirder, because I never really messed with that one. But one sec. Hang on, folks. Yeah, there we go. Wow, look at that. It's a bit better. I'll just stick my hand in the frame, see what that looks like. Yeah, that's definitely better. Okay, there we go. I can live with that for that one. That was me doing that, Mark. I turned the auto off. I just didn't adjust it properly. Whoa. 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 Let's try that. We won't experiment with it too much today, but I probably. Hey, Michelle. Okay, let's draw these characters then. So basically, my original plan, my instinct was right by the sounds of it, Billy. Well, I don't think my face is that much darker at all, actually. The hand cam definitely is, but whatever. We'll have a ring light on me next time. 2 corner bugs are regular enemy. The middle one is a boss called Mantis Lord. Hey, June, what's up? 2 corner bugs, regular enemies, and the middle one is okay. I did wonder about doing the big one. I thought it could be kind of cool. Is Hornet like a good guy? Does she work with him? With Knight? Honestly, well, first of all, how do you know I'm not using StreamML? I guess you do know, because it probably tells you in the thing when you... Never mind. Alright. You win this round, June's up. Yeah, well, I have a whole thing with my regular routine, Chantel, but the exposure thing is one that... I think it might just be the light in the room as the seasons change, because I have a big window next to me, so it wasn't an issue for a while, and then I kind of forgot about it. But anyway. It's kind of anti-hero, I'm thinking. Alright. You know what? Maybe let's do 3 in here. Because I think even with 3 characters, it's gonna be a quick one. So let's go for it. I think actually it's gonna be pretty fun doing. Doing these characters because they're so simple. Play around with it. Okay. Gotcha. So obviously you're a fan as well, Michelle? Thanks. Okay. I might need to actually change like that. Kind of join it this way, kind of like that, I guess, because I want room for this blade to go all the way up there. This character actually, just a tiny bit, art style wise, very different, but like her silhouette and stuff, it kind of makes me think a little bit of Kubo and the Two Strings. Cool. How old is it? I feel like I've never played it. I feel like I was aware of it and then kind of forgot about it though. In fact, when I looked up the trailer to watch today for inspiration, it actually showed it as having been played before. So I had seen the trailer before. And I knew I had definitely seen the artwork, but I wasn't sure if I'd really looked into it or if it was just something that I had kind of seen by association, 2017? Okay. Well, I'm behind on it too, Nadia, and I'm even drawing it. If I'm gonna bring any bit of my own flair to this drawing, it's probably gonna be needlessly long capes and rags. That's my jam. That's how I roll. Ridiculously long hair, ridiculously long capes. Oh, that's very cool. How much did they raise to do it, do you know? I feel like if they had to, they could probably do it for pretty cheap. It would just be a slower process, right? $57,000. Wow, it's a pretty decent chunk of change. Okay, I don't mind what I've drawn here. I feel like in terms of putting because I'm gonna put what's his face up here was the plan, but I feel like she's not even gonna look like she's looking at him. And he should be pretty small compared to her, right? Honestly, I got a little overzealous drawing the first character. I should have kind of mapped out the whole composition first. But whatever. Make it work. I might move her head so the eye direction kind of makes a bit more sense, but I'll probably keep it more or less the same otherwise. And that's who they are. Okay, you know what? You know what? This is going fast enough. I'm doing a whole other thing here. I just got an idea. I'm gonna map out the whole thing. So we're gonna do something like this. Okay, cool. You know, actually, I think I noticed that in the trailer. Is that the moment when you see like a bunch of them kind of lined up in these almost like these columns behind you? Okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely noticed that. The mentor session, yeah. I kept wanting to say tomorrow night, but no, Thursday night. Have you finished the game, Michelle? Alright, I think I'm gonna do this. I think it's gonna make it work. Here's a question, completely unrelated to the game. Any of you guys ever watched the show Happy? I started watching that yesterday. And I'm digging it. It's Christopher Maloney from Wet Hot American Summer and Law and Order, among other things. And he plays this like washed up cop, like ex-cop turned hitman that is trying to find a missing girl, like a kid, with the help of her imaginary friend voiced by Patton Oswalt. And it's pretty bonkers. I've been watching it while I draw, and if I'm being honest, I really should be giving it my full attention because it does have a lot of action in it, and cool visuals. So I'm definitely missing some stuff, but it's also sort of just sometimes a necessary evil. Just I got so much on my list, you know. But I just finished the first season today, and I know that there's only one more season. I know it got canceled. I don't know if it's because season 2 isn't as good or if it just kind of got canceled ahead of its time. Yeah, I heard that, but I haven't. I'm assuming it's a Grant Morrison comics. I know he's one of the producers. Not too. When I'm writing Nadia, I have music playing all the time. But when I'm drawing, I usually have a show or something on in the background. Oh, hey, JC. I got distracted with the like trying to translate that in my head. But yeah, no, I really liked the first season anyway. I think it's pretty bonkers in like all the right ways. Did you like it, Mark? Or have you not? Or have you watched enough of it to know, to have an opinion? Good evening to you, JC. All the way up to the end? Like is season 2 like I'll watch it no matter what, but was season 2 like also good, or do you think that's why it didn't last? Or because I mean a lot of shows end before their time, so ending doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the quality of it. Oh, you're on it right now. Okay. When it's a drawing show, I tend to get through stuff pretty quick. So I might have season 2 done finished as early as tomorrow. I got one class tomorrow. I'm planning on spending the rest of the time inking with the TV going. Oh, is that's what made you put it on? Yeah, if I kind of regretted not putting it on last month. I didn't know it was set during Christmas, or the first season anyway. So off to this side, I was there. To be honest, Nani, I haven't done like a ton of it. Um, I mean, I colored everything digitally, but it's a bit different when you're coloring like line work from doing like a more traditional thing. I have done some of it, but it's something I want, and it's something I want to experiment a lot more with. But I actually haven't done a ton of it, to be honest. Uh, were you looking for just for general advice, or is there something you're having some issues with? I mean, my approach to it is usually like I would do like a sketch on the one. I mean, it probably isn't anything different from what you're doing, honestly. But do like a sketch, but then rather than go straight to the line work, I would just start layering up the color. Kind of do your you still do your flats kind of as if you're doing it, but then instead of the line work, you're adding shadow and building it up and so on and so forth. But I don't know that that's any. I don't think that any of that is reinventing the wheel. It's probably what you're more or less doing already, probably. But if not, then yeah, that would be my advice, I guess. Yeah, honestly, I still do a little bit too, just because I'm so not used to it, and I see and I'm not quite used to the grip that I have on the screen. Like I only got a drawing screen like a couple weeks ago, so. But the beauty of doing anything digitally, of course, is the magic of the undo button. So I think I'm gonna change that leg, but let's do this character first. When I was talking about Kubo, I think that this mask makes me think of those Witch characters, or I guess not really a mask, but it looks kind of like a mask. And this one makes me think of the samurai beetle guy. I don't know if I helped that much there, Nadia, but if it did help, then I'm glad. Were you able to get that meeting on Friday, by the way, or did it have to wait till the weekend? Also, is her sword a pin? Okay, let's adjust this leg. Let's get that a little bit more dynamic. And then we'll ink it. I don't know if that's dynamic so much as just makes them look a bit limper. Let's try that again. original one might have been the better one. Alright, that's better. Let's do that. Yeah, alright. Alright, let's take it. Make it official. What are we up to as we watch tonight, by the way, guys? Always like that. But all different. Cause like, hers definitely looks like a pin because it's got the loop on the end of it. I can't quite figure out what the other ones are, if they're supposed to be some kind of real world doohickey. I noticed that Knight has kind of like lines on. I almost wonder if it's supposed to be bone or something. Oh, it's a nail. Okay. Well, I'm making it shiny. That's all I know. Shiny, sharp, and pointy. Do. Ink, 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 ink. Well, I guess just because it's me drawing it, might as well add an extra abundance of detail that isn't prevalent in the original. Not as much as usual, but maybe more than the original has, just because I'm here. And it's what I do. I have no idea what that tune was. It just came to me. Alright. Eyeball. Other eyeball. Have you done any classes online, Mark, or have you been managing to keep them on campus since stuff changed? Yeah, I guess everything has to at least be hybrid. Doing hybrid for classical animation. So I was on campus today for the first time this year. And then my other stuff is online so far. Something happened there. Was that? Oh no, that was from before. Okay, I missed that. I heard it, but I couldn't actually see it on my screen for some reason. I'm guessing Brad started hosting me though. That's my guess. Yep, sounds about right. All right, that's what I thought. Thanks, Brad. Brad is BC Bot Killer. Who also runs Gaming for Guts, the charity gaming stream for Crohn's and colitis, IBD and stuff. They're going to be selling t-shirts soon that have some artwork done by me, but they kind of laid out and messed around a bit with by Brad. Keep an eye out for that. I'll probably be giving them some plugs when that goes live. Giraffe neck. And let's go. issue I have with the hybrid in particular, Mark, is like, especially for classical, is I've got everybody online on the computer in the classroom area, and then everybody that's there goes to work in the mezzanine where all the animation desks are. And I'm kind of just going back and forth. And if I spend too long in either place, I'm worried that I'm neglecting somebody. So I can't sit still. And if I start getting chatty with somebody, I start to feel guilty. I'm like, oh wait, I can't go over here. Because normally if I get chatty with somebody during class, it's like the other, anybody else that might have a question is like 2 feet away, you know? Yeah, kind of picturing you almost like Jerry Springer walking around the... Why I went to Jerry Springer over any other talk show host, I'm not really sure. But Jerry does have a cameo in the first season of Happy, so... I was actually thinking the other day, is Jerry Springer still on TV? But Happy's not that old, so I'm thinking he is. Am I right? Is Jerry still on? Is that still a thing? My dad went through a fairly hefty Jerry Springer phase, watching a lot of Jerry. By the way, Billy, I didn't get a chance to respond. Because I noticed it as I was going live and I was setting everything up, but I noticed that you asked about thoughts on Daniel Radcliffe playing Weird Al. And I don't know. I think Daniel's a decent enough actor. Appearance-wise, it's kind of hard to picture it, but you put the glasses on him and you put the long hair on him, and I guess I could sort of see it. But it's also like, it's hard to picture. I don't know. And I remember like there was a sketch. I can't remember on what show, but it was like a parody on VH1 docs, but about Weird Al. And the whole joke was that he doesn't have any real drama in his life because he's apparently a really nice guy. He never got into drugs or anything. So the whole kind of joke was that they had nothing really to talk about. So to hear them actually, so as a Weird Al fan, I'm like, sure, bring on the biopic, but on the other hand, I'm like, what's it even going to be about, really? You need some conflict, you know? But I guess anybody that goes from humble beginnings to stardom is a pretty good feel-good story, at least. So slow with all these curves. Nice and round. Is that serious? I feel like that's a joke. He's kind of... Maybe in the early days when fame first hit him, maybe. Yeah. I feel like he became a household name, which is a big deal. But I don't know that he was never like mega star, you know. He's coming to Vancouver, I think, actually, later this year. Unless, of course, COVID ruins that. Which is definitely a thing that can happen. Did you say what you think of, I loved UHF. Did you say what you think of Daniel Radcliffe in the role, Billy? What are your thoughts on that? I think UHF is a tragically underrated movie, Mark, myself. Got it all on UHF. I've actually seen Al live twice now, too. And I would go again. The irony of you asking that question, Junsup, is how long after Mark's comment you asked that question. Which really illustrates the whole point of waiting for someone to answer. Maybe that was your intention. Maybe you were kind of waiting for the right moment. And I won't question it if you tell me that was intentional. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you're being honest. Is that also your excuse during class, Junsup? If Mark asks you a question, it takes you forever to answer him. You're just like, look, Mark, I'm talking to other people too, okay? It's not all about you, alright? Why do you blame Robert for your timing, Junsep? Alright. Rule number 2 of comedy is never talk about comedy. I saw somebody tweet one time. So I just joined a fight club. I came to my first meeting late, but I'm really excited to be part of this fight club. And you know, fight club. I'm so excited to talk about it. And I got a kick out of that. It was a good gag. Here's a question for you, Billy or Michelle, are resident Hollow Knight experts. I have what I think is 2 different drawings or images of Knight in my on my reference here, but I just noticed that one, like, the horns are like this, and the other one's a bit stubbier. So is this actually 2 different characters? Did I draw the wrong character here? And I gotta say, if they are 2 different characters, as much as I'm digging the art of this game, that's, unless there's a story reason for it, that's a bit weak how similar they look. So like, this one and this one, they're almost identical but not quite. So are they different? They are the same? Okay. Good. Stop it, Mark. If I was wrong, I would have considered putting the red guy down here, but it would have looked like a pretty slipshod composition. It's already not the best composition, honestly, but thanks, Michelle. I'm glad. Actually, extremely glad, to be honest. Okay, do you know why that is? Is that like because the cover is from the original promotional stuff and they refine the character more, or shit is falling all over the place right here? Okay. Arm scoop. Arm scoop. Handle. Arm scoop. Arm scoop. Well, then we have a conundrum. Can't remember what the context was, but let's think of what's his face, Zap Brannigan in Futurama. Kiff, we have a conundrum. A bit more Batman-y with his cape. Or maybe Mr. Sinister from X-Men. You can decide. Works. Apply. A little bit of shadow and some extra bits here and there. Is that a Futurama quote? Is that a Zap Brannigan quote? That's another one that's on my rewatch list. Because I watched it a lot when it came out, but it was one that like Fox just, it's one of the reasons it got canceled when it did, is because Fox just moved it around. It was on a different night all the time when it was new. So I missed it a lot. So I always really liked it, but there's a lot of holes in my Futurama knowledge. Oh, it's the context for the right, okay, right. GIF, we have a conundrum. Gotcha. I don't know if this has ever been stated, but I always assumed that a if he hadn't died, that probably would have been Phil Hartman doing the voice of Zap. And like, I always assumed that right from the first episode, because it's exactly the kind of character he would have voiced on The Simpsons. But I almost feel like in more recent years, I actually heard that Matt Groening actually said that the character was intended for him, and then he died before they actually made the pilot. I also could be mistaken. Stranger things have happened. I just realized I'm gonna bring this down a bit in case that makes her look too naked. So I don't really know what the anatomical rules of these characters are exactly. I think I've only seen the first season so far, and I liked it enough. I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it enough. I made it a background show when the first season dropped, and but then I think I finished the first volume of Combat Fairies right around when that came out. So by the time the second season was out, I was taking a break from the excessively long drawing hours and didn't get back to it. Yeah. What about you? What do you think of it? Yeah, I think that would be a good descriptor. Not a terrible way to kill a half an hour, but not amazing. Oops. Let me know when I'm doing that, guys. I'm drawing off camera. The music, This tune, actually playing now, I know I've said before, reminds me of the original Superman. Kind of when he's off discovering the Fortress of Solitude and everything for the first time, and it's like kind of whimsical and mysterious. Not so much anymore, but when this track first starts, it makes me think of that. And then here and there, kind of comes back a little bit. Oh yeah, I noticed it came up when I searched for the trailer. I definitely miss playing licensed music. I would have definitely put the official soundtrack on for the game if I could do it without getting in trouble. I'm not 100% sure. Like it started before I pulled the trigger on it, but I just started hearing about people getting shut down and stuff, and I was also finding that most of the stuff that I was posting, by the time I finished going live, like the recording of it would be muted by Twitch, and so I couldn't even really put it on YouTube or anything because it was just going to be a silent video. And it actually still happens now. I think the algorithm sometimes mistakes some songs for other ones, but it'll only mute during that one song, so it'll only be like a couple minutes out of the video if it happens now. But before, it'd be like the entire thing would get muted. Alright, let's do the Spot Blacks on here. Does anybody watch Cobra Kai? Finally watched that over the weekend. That was my weekend drawing show. I blasted through all 4 seasons. Had a productive weekend. I thought the show was good, especially good for what is essentially Karate Kid's sequel series. But definitely not without its cheesiness either. And I thought a bit repetitive at times. One character for a long time really drove me nuts. He kind of comes into his own a little bit over time, but in the beginning, I'm just like, this is like the weirdest, dumbest kid in the world. But I did like it overall, but the kid that I'm referring to, Michelle, is Robbie. I thought in the he gets better, but in the first season, like he's introduced as this like rebel badass, and then he just sees Danny doing karate by himself through a window, and all of a sudden he just like completely changed outlook on life, you know. And I thought that was kind of hokey. And then when he's talking to Danny, Danny's teaching him how to make a fist because he holds his fist weird or something like that, or whatever the hell he does. And I'm like, 16-year-old, wrong side of the tracks, rebel kid. He's never watched a movie or held a fist before. Like, I was like, really? And there was a few things like that. There's one point where Danny's like hammering a fence post in, and Rob's watching him like he's never seen a hammer before. He's like, oh. And that kind of thing bugged me. But I did think it was good overall. I was pretty impressed with the overall arcs of everybody, and I thought they legitimately surprised me at times and stuff. So I think there's a lot more good than bad, but there was definitely a few moments where I was like, oh, really? I don't actually remember the Karate Kid sequels well enough to say, Billy, which one is 3? Is that the one with Hilary Swank, or is that after that? They reference the first one a lot, and they reference what I think is the second one. Is the third one where he goes to Japan? Yeah, totally. That was the other thing too, is that he seems so eager to learn, and I feel like I could see them him evolving to the point where he's eager to learn, but he flips the switch so fast. But but he does improve. He gets better. I think in season 3 in particular. And there's some good setups at the end of season 4 that definitely have me intrigued for the next season. But the bigger arcs that we've been following, I feel like feels like they have a pretty strong resolution now. So there is a part of me that kind of, even though I am curious to see where that next season goes, there's part of me that kind of wishes season 4 was the last season, just because it feels like they tied up some stuff pretty nicely, and they're maybe playing with fire to keep going beyond that. But we'll see. Hilary Swank is okay. Okay, yeah. So there's been no reference to Hilary Swank. If there's something else from that movie that has been brought up, I haven't picked up on it. Is movie 3 the one where they go to Japan, Michelle? Here's the thing. I remember the first one fairly well because I watched it later on in life. But I don't really like. I think I saw the other sequels when I was a kid, but I don't really have much memory of them. And I think they're all on Netflix, so I actually was tempted to kind of go back and watch them, put them on in the background. But I also had nothing but Cobra Kai on like all weekend, so I was kind of like, all right, I'm ready to move on to something else. 2 is Japan. Okay. So they make reference to a bunch of stuff from that one, and they make reference to a time when Danny briefly joined Cobra Kai himself. And so if Japan is the second one, then I'm thinking that that one's the third one I'm thinking. again, maybe I'm wrong. Okay. So is that also the one where he joins Cobra Kai, or is that in the second one as well as Japan? Or are all of our numbers mixed up and there's actually 5 of these things? He references the bonsai tree for sure, the bonsai store, but I wasn't actually sure if that was actually in a movie or if that was just something that kind of made sense to kind of try to fill in the lost years, you know. Okay. And does he join Cobra Kai briefly in that one, Michelle? Is that where the long-haired dude comes from? Because I get the impression they reference the Japan one quite a bit, and it looks like enough happens in that I am assuming it doesn't have the Cobra Kai storyline in that one as well. But I could be wrong. Okay. So that would be 3 then. There is a point where they're really going hog wild with the references to Danny's Japan visit. And I think it's just because it's a bit much, honestly, that okay, you know what? I'm just gonna throw it here. Spoiler warning. This is season 3, I think, that this happens. He goes to Japan and encounters quite a few characters that he met when he was in Japan. And it feels like every time he turns around, he's seeing somebody he knows, which is a bit ridiculous. But I think it's sort of like they want to have these references, and it's kind of like, well, it's going to be even more contrived if he bumps into them at home. And we can't have him going to Japan every couple weeks, so we need to get these references out there now, I think is probably what it was. Not that I've noticed. Honestly, the 2010 Karate Kid really wasn't that bad. And I think it's some of the best acting we've seen out of, like, I love Jackie Chan, but he doesn't get the opportunity to really flex his acting chops that much. But I thought he kind of stood out in that one. Except for the fact, of course, that he's actually learning Kung Fu in it and not karate. One thing that did annoy me in that one, though, is the scene where he meets Jackie. He's getting bullied, and Jackie basically just kicks the shit out of all these kids that are bullying Danny, and it's like, yeah, they're bullies, but they're still teenagers. And it's like a Rumble in the Bronx scene all of a sudden, where he's just destroying these kids, and I was like, that's a bit much. Honestly, though, that would be another kind of only mild. It's not really a criticism, even. It's just more of an observation. But with Cobra Kai, like, some of the fighting is kind of ridiculous. Like, a kid will take 3 karate lessons, and then they become like a one-man army, basically. And I'm willing to suspend the disbelief because the fighting is obviously more exciting if the fighters really know what they're doing. But it's a bit extreme. Honestly, don't think I knew there was a cartoon. not really that surprised to hear it though, I guess, because a lot of like movie franchises became cartoons in the 80s. But yeah, I don't think I knew that. Yeah, exactly. There's one particularly insane example of that in the most recent season as well. I also think though too, some of my criticisms, like if I was watching it like a season a year, like most people would typically do, it probably, some of this stuff probably wouldn't bother me that much. But watching all 4 seasons in a weekend, um, when they repeat certain things, it like really stands out. So there were some of these like big multi-character kind of rumbles, you know, that were kind of cool, each cool in their own right, but it was like it felt like it was happening so often. But in actuality, it was probably only like once a season. But I was just felt like I was seeing it a lot because I was knocking out like 2 seasons in a day, basically. Almost done here, by the way, guys. I'm gonna add. Yeah, I believe that, Michelle. What was the same in reference to Billy? Thanks, JC. Was that to the martial arts comment, or did you say that you've watched the show, Billy? I noticed something that I wanted to add, and now oh, that's what it was. Yeah, I'm gonna just do a little bit of this. All right, I think we can toss a signature on here. Oh, but the martial arts, yeah. Are you also actively taking martial arts classes, Billy? I know Michelle's been doing it. She sometimes pops in here right after. Is it Taekwondo that you take, Michelle? Or have you been doing a few of them? I want to say it was Taekwondo, but I could be wrong. All right, let's throw a signature on there. And there it is, guys. We'll raid somebody really quick. You know what? Hang on, didn't put any unnecessary details on her face yet. Oh, jujitsu. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Um, but anyway, yeah. So I'll find somebody to raid. We'll find another artist. Stick around for that. If you're not able to stick around too long, that's cool. Maybe just stick around for the initial raid if you can. Just to give them the surge there for a minute. And I'll be back on Thursday for another original one. This one's like somewhat inspired by a past one that I did that is still probably one of my favorite drawings I've done on the stream, actually. And I had an idea for another character in the same vein. So we're going to do that on Thursday. And thanks, guys. Cool. Okay. Yeah, I gotta say, I've never done anything close to any kind of martial. My dad did when he was a kid, and he tried to get me into it, but I think I was almost just too nervous to try it when I was a kid. When I was in my Ninja Turtles phase, they tried to get me to take a class, but I wasn't feeling it at that age. But anyway, let's find somebody to raid, and And I'll see you guys next time. Well, let's find a raidee, shall we? Pop up here. Let's see who's online. See what? Here's some digital painting. Let's raid Dave Greco Art. We're gonna raid him soon. Here we go. Raid!